Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great week, a great start to your weekend, or a great weekend, depending on when you watch this. Well, today we're creating once more. I was inspired by the die set. I finally got the die set from the Simon Says Stamp card kit called Made to Flourish. It's this month's card kit, and I when I saw this, I thought, oh gosh, this is so pretty, and I really want to create a card with it. This is a beautiful arrangement that's on the package, okay? But of course, we're going to go outside the arrangement and create a pretty, another arrangement other than what's shown. You know, I like to think outside the box. And then I'm also going to be using the stamp set in a very unintended way, but it's going to turn out really cute, okay? We're going to use one of the flourishes in here, and then we're also going to use one of the vases to create something other than, again, what it's intended. Okay, so we're going to jump in and get started. Okay, I have my dies arranged in layering process, okay? SSS made it really easy because they etched numbers and letters on the back, okay, to help you with the guidance. Well, for this leaf, we're not going to use the layers, so I'm going to put these back in the package. Okay, for this leaf, we're not going to use the layers. I'm going to put these back in the package. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do some die cutting. I'm going to cut out 3 of these, 2 of these. This one I'm going to cut out with my Simon Says Stamp Green Apple cardstock. This one I'm going to cut out with my Spellbinders Color Wheel Fern cardstock. So 2 of these, 3 of these. So these are done. We're going to put these off to the side. Okay, and then now we're going to work on our florals. For our flower bud, I'm bringing in the same green apple cardstock. We'll cut that out. And this is layer 1. I'm going to bring in some of my Spellbinders. This color, Sicily from Spellbinders. Okay, and then my layer 2, I'm going to bring in my Spellbinder Cinnamon. Okay, that's going to be for the flower bed. Now for the flower, we're bringing in some Bellini from Spellbinders. For layer 2, I'm going to use chiffon. Layer 3, I'm going to cut this out with my Sicily here. Okay, layer 4, I'm going to cut this out with my cinnamon. And then layer 5, I'm going to bring in some of my Spellbinders Coral cardstock. And then we have the flower center. For layer 1, I'm using my Tuscan. I think that's Tuscan. And then this is layer 2. I'm bringing in my Spellbinders Beeswax. And then this is layer 3. I'm using Simon Says Stamp's Lemon Chiffon. So 3 colors of 3 different yellows here. Okay, I'm going to run this through my die cut machine and we're going to build some flowers. Okay, my die cutting's all done, and I layered them on my glass mat to make it easier for when I build the flowers. Okay, this is the flower bed. We'll do this one first. I'm going to bring in my glue, and I'm going to add glue. There's debossed area on these flower beds, and that's very helpful when doing your layering. Okay, so first we're going to add the larger piece following the debossed area. Okay, and then we can add the rest of them. These flowers, believe it or not, just line up on the top, not the bottom, but the top part of the flower beds. Just like that, pretty easy. Okay. Then we're going to add another dot of glue. I'm going to add this in the debossed area of this layer. Okay, and then we can add this here. This goes here. There we go. And that's all there is to the flower beds. Okay, we'll put this to the side. And then now for the flower, this is our main piece. What I'm going to do is take this piece, flip it over, Add some glue behind here. And then we can layer this on the debossed area. We just line it up. Tack that down. We have this bottom piece also that we're just going to layer here. Okay. For my next layer, I need to bring in my tweezers just to make it easier. Okay, we'll add glue behind here. And you can see this lines up right here on this section. And I think I grabbed tweezers that had ink on there. The other day on my ink pad, I had release paper for my foam squares, so I took it off and didn't wipe off my tweezers. Okay, so I have ink here, but that's okay. That's going to be covered. Okay, let's go ahead and take this next piece, add some glue, and this one goes layered here. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to add, that's 1, 2, 3. This is layer 4. Put some glue behind here. This goes tacked down right here. Okay, and then we add a little glue up here, and that is where this piece goes. And there's no debossed area on this telling me where to put that piece, but I did refer to the packaging. Okay, so I just followed the packaging for that little piece here. Okay. Okay, now we have layer 5 left. We have a little glue. Layer 5 goes here, and it also goes here. Okay, so let's take this piece, add here. There's debossed area for this one. Tack that down, and then we go here. And that is our flower. Now, as I'm doing that, I didn't realize I was doing this, but I was swishing around and about my flower centers. So give me a minute, I gotta find them. Okay, we're back in business. Okay, we did good. I found all the pieces. Now for this, I'm gonna add glue here. I'm gonna layer on the base piece. I'm gonna add this piece here. It just lines up like you're fitting a puzzle on there. And then we have our layer 3 for the flower center. We're gonna add glue behind. And then this goes layered here. This one you want to layer on the bottom. There we go. Okay. Give that a press, and that's my flower center. Now we have several layers on here. What I'm going to do is bring in a foam square. We need a small one. And then I'm going to layer this over here. And that is our flower and our flower bud. Okay, I am going to ink up my flower. Okay, so I have some Simon inks. I have watermelon and mocha. What I'm going to do is add a little watermelon. So we got a little extra shading here. And then I'm going to add a little extra shading to this part. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. Just add a little shading. Wonderful. And then we'll put this away. Now I'm going to bring in my mocha. I think when you add brown to a project, it takes it from bright, it takes it to like a vintage level. So I added just a touch to my flower buds. And then I'm going to add some brown here to the edges too of my flower. You can see how it kind of tones down that flower. And there we go. Flower and flower buds all ready. Now I'm going to create one more flower bud and one more flower. We're gonna flip both of these over now, and I'm gonna put foam tape behind here. We're gonna make a flower arrangement, so these are gonna be ready to go. Now I'm gonna zoom back out. Those are all done. Okay, I have 2 more Simon inks now. We have Kale and Perfection. These are, we're gonna do some stamping directly on our leaves. And this is gonna be so fun, okay? That's where our unintentional purpose for our stamped image comes in. I'm gonna take this image here. I'm gonna put this flower on an acrylic block. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my Kale ink, and we are gonna use our flower as a pattern on our leaves. And I just think this is gonna look so cool. And you can overlap, that's the best part. Look. Doesn't that make a great texture? I saw that and I thought, well, that would make a really fun pattern for my leaves. So we're just gonna stamp directly on our leaves with our flowers. I am missing a little bit up here, and there we go. Lovely. Okay, let's clean off our stamp, and then we'll put away our Kale. And then now I'm bringing in Perfection, and we're gonna stamp on these leaves also. Pretty neat pattern, huh? Okay, and the ink does pull back a little bit, so it will be a tone on tone, which is really nice. And we just stamp. I don't know if you guys have ever pick up a little more ink and stamp over here. Lovely. And I'll do the same to the third one. So you can go through your stamps. This is fun too to do with like checkers or lots of different patterns. Okay, that's more of a solid pattern. Wonderful. I just love the way this looks. Okay, we'll put this back. And then I'm going to take these, flip them over, and put foam tape behind a few of the leaves also. Now I have a panel of my Simon Says Stamp Ivory cardstock. This panel measures 4 inches tall by 5.5 inches wide. We're gonna make a landscape. We are making a landscape style card, but I'm gonna turn my paper vertical, okay? I have my mocha ink, and then I'm bringing in my stamp set, and we're gonna use the barrel that's in here. I'm just gonna put that on acrylic block. I think it's best if I center it. And again, using my mocha ink, what I'm gonna do is this doesn't have to be perfect, but about 3/4 of an inch from the left, I'm gonna stamp my first barrel. And I'm gonna stamp it off the page. Okay, and then I'm gonna pick up some more ink again, and then I'm gonna stamp the bottom of the barrel on the curve of the lid here. And we're just gonna create a barreled border. It's very easy to do, and your lining up doesn't have to be perfect. If you want your barrels to be even a little wonky, you could make them a little wonky. We'll stamp this one over here. The reason I stamped it off the page was because I wanted it off the page on the top and off the page on the bottom, just to make it look a little bit more uniform. Okay, now one thing I noticed is I did get ink here, so I'm just gonna trim that off. We'll just put it in here and trim that away, and you can never tell. I'm also gonna trim down a piece of Spellbinder's chiffon cardstock. We're just gonna trim down 1 inch. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring in my card base. And then I'll take this panel, we'll add some glue here. I'm actually going to add another strip of my chiffon to the top area. That way we have a little bit of the peachy color on top and on the bottom. Okay, lovely. I think that looks wonderful. You could use a full A2 panel if you wanted to, but I'm just kind of stretching my cardstock, okay? After we have this done, we're gonna stamp our greeting. Now I'm gonna take a piece of my ivory cardstock. We're going to stamp the greeting that says, "Great things take time." I'm going to put that on my acrylic block. And no, you know, I think I'm going to use my Memento ink. Okay, you could use your Mocha ink if you want to, but I'm going to use my Memento. I'll just stamp it here. Lovely. And then I'm going to take the coordinating die for this, and I will cut out my greeting. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and layer this right down here. Now we can add our flowers to our card base. So let's go ahead and first layer both of our flowers. And I think I want them a little bit wonky like this right here. Okay, and then we can do a little tucking with our leaves. Okay, I haven't pressed down all the way just yet because I'm not sure of my placement. And then we can add these darker leaves, kind of layering over the top. I think that looks nice. I'm loving the way that looks. And then I'm going to add my flower buds right over the top. So now we have several layers. We'll do a little tucking here. Add some flower buds over here. And that turned out really pretty. And I'm happy with that placement. Okay, I'm going to do a little leaf surgery. I'm going to trim off this leaf here, and then I'll trim off the bottom, and I'm just going to scoot it down. Rather than cutting the leaf, we'll just do a little leaf surgery. Wonderful. I think that looks really pretty. Okay, now we need some bells and whistles. I'm bringing in some of my Ranger liquid pearls. This is platinum pearl. And we're just going to add a few pearls in our background here. And then I'm also going to bring in some of my diamond Stickles. And I need to go over, notice I said I need to go over the flower centers to add a little sparkle to those stamen areas. I guess it's a must with my diamond Stickles. But that will finish my card today. Kind of thinking outside the box with our stamp set, creating a really pretty pattern on our leaves, and then also creating a real fun pattern as a border. Hope this gives you a little idea or inspiration with the card kit this month. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.